Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today, and welcome to the LEED Strategic Practices Program Information Session, a virtual open house. My name is Annie, and I'm an Education Program Coordinator here at CaGBC. I will be your host for today's session. Our guest presenters today are Sheila Brown, Alex Blue, and Shahryar Garamanian. Alex Blue is an engineer focusing on energy analysis for new and existing buildings with over 5 years of experience. Alex has been involved in a variety of projects across Canada and the U.S., including numerous LEED projects, code compliance and incentive projects, P3Ss, energy audits, and calibrated modeling. Alex co-leads Morrison Herschel's LEED Energy Review team and has taught the LSP program courses 4 and 6. Alex is one of our leading instructors in this program. Next, we have Sheila Brown. Sheila is a LEED AP with a specialty in design and construction. She has contributed to the development of many of the LEED Canada tools, including LEED Canada 2009 and LEED for Commercial Interiors. She was also vice chair of the CaGBC's Materials Technical Advisory Group. Sheila has presented at numerous conferences on topics associated with sustainable buildings and has worked with government organizations to integrate sustainable building criteria and asset management into project delivery processes. Sheila has provided LEED facilitation services for numerous projects registered under LEED for new construction, LEED for core and shell, LEED for commercial interiors, and LEED for existing buildings, operations, and maintenance. Sheila is the instructor for courses 2 and 3 of the LSP program. Finally, we have Shahryar Garamanian, who recently graduated successfully from the 7 courses of the LSP program. Shahryar is an experienced energy advisor at Infrastructure Ontario, where he is responsible for energy performance of alternative financing projects, including new healthcare facilities. Shahryar helps to save energy costs, to provide a comfortable indoor environment for people, and to save our planet Earth. Shahryar holds a PhD degree in mechanical engineering from Sweden. He specializes in both building and industrial energy systems. And prior to joining IO, he has worked with engineering consulting firms, government, and universities. I will now pass things over to Crystal Finnegan, who will give us a little bit of background on the LSP program.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. As you can see, this is our agenda just in front of you here. We're going to go into a little bit of an overview of the LSP program. You'll also hear some information about our course material, some of the program benefits. Then you'll have one of our students share his experience, and then we'll move into a question and answer period. So thank you again for attending. And like Annie said, my name is Crystal Finnegan, and I work on the education team at the Council. Today I'm going to give you just a little history and insight as to why the CaGBC created the LSP certificate program. So back in 2015, the CaGBC conducted a market needs assessment, and basically this assessment was used to assess the feasibility of creating a certificate program that was designed to meet the needs of professionals experienced in submitting and reviewing LEED documentation. As it stands, the green building industry does suffer from a shortage of qualified, experienced people to take on LEED projects. Now, although we do have a number of LEED Green associates and accredited professionals in Canada, there is still a lack of project experience and skills specifically relating to LEED project management. So as a result of our industry needs assessment, it was made very clear by industry leaders and as well as our LEED technical team that it was critical that new hires have real-world LEED project experience. So to accomplish this, the CaGBC designed a program, the LSP program, which walks students through all elements of the LEED NC 2009 rating system. So it provides an in-depth look into all the credit categories. It shares project documentation from actual LEED projects. And finally, we've designed assignments that have students completing real LEED documentation. So essentially, the LSP program was designed and created to meet the rising demand of professionals experienced in submitting and reviewing LEED documentation. So just a little bit about the program format. So the LSP program is a 7-course certificate program. Each course is made up of 3 modules, and basically 1 module is covered per week. It is a part-time program, and it is designed for working professionals. The program can be taken in a variety of formats, so it can be taken course by course at your own pace, or you can register for the entire program. If there is, by chance, a standalone course that you are interested in, by all means you can take it, but to complete the certificate program, you would have to complete all 7 courses. And each module is instructed by leading Canadian industry experts, which is highly important to the CaGBC. The LSP program also offers exclusive job shadowing and internship opportunities, and these are offered to select program graduates. Graduates of the program will also be invited to join the CaGBC LSP Alumni Community Hub. This hub is a central location where students, alumni, will see perhaps job opportunities. They will have different networking opportunities. There will be discussion and information exchanged, and advice and guidance could be provided as well by industry professionals, both peer-to-peer and mentor to alumni. And lastly, the program is delivered through CaGBC Central, which is CaGBC's online learning platform. So that's just a little snapshot into the format of the program and a little bit about the history and why it was developed. I'll pass things over to Sheila Brown now, who will get into a little bit more of the meat and potatoes of the program.
Hi, everybody. So I'm glad to see there is such a strong interest in the course. It has been designed to recognize the fact that everybody has lives, you have jobs, and you have families and so forth that sometimes complicate our time schedules. So each module is provided as a pre-recorded webinar. So you can take the webinar whenever your schedule suits. We do have some timelines for when the assignments are due, so you do have to keep that in mind. One of the things that probably works well is if you can try to just set a certain time period aside each week to listen to the webinar and then complete your assignments and get them submitted through to your instructor for that particular course. Each one of the instructors does have real-life experience, not only with LEED, but with that particular topic that they are providing instruction on. One of the advantages to this is that anybody that's done this for a period of time has learned some of the pitfalls from being in the trenches. We've learned what works and what doesn't work, and we're here to share that with you. So that's an important factor. It's not just somebody that knows the book and is giving it back to you. We all have real hands-on project experience. Each of the courses and modules were designed to cover related topics that fit together. So that's one of the things, if you look at the agenda for the course, you'll see that it doesn't follow the credits and as they're laid out in the reference guide or in any of the LEED material. We've actually structured it in such a way that the topics that you're covering in each particular module have some synergies and some related content. So you'll understand how they kind of fit together. One of the other reasons that we structured the course in this particular manner was if you are somebody that doesn't want to take the full program, so you're a mechanical engineer, you're only interested in the energy credits primarily, you can choose to take the 1 or 2 modules that focus on those credits that are of interest to you. You do need to take course 1, that's mandatory for everybody. And as Crystal said, you wouldn't receive the certificate at the end, but you do have the option of taking only the courses that relate to perhaps your scope of work. If somebody's a landscape architect, they may not be interested in all of the credits within the LEED framework, but they do have an interest in some very specific ones that are going to relate to their scope of work on a project. So they can just take the 2 courses and the introductory course that will cover those topics that relate to them. There are required reading materials for each module, so you will have to set aside some time each week after you've listened to the webinar to do those readings. We've also supplied some supplementary reading materials that are there because they have some really good information. Maybe they're ones that you have time to read that week, or if you don't, you can just sort of set them aside on the to-do list. hopefully near the top of the to-do list, so you don't forget to do them. And those supplementary materials are there to give you some additional knowledge, some information that will help whenever you are actually working on a real-life project. There are assignments, so each week you will have an actual assignment to do that you will submit for grading, and those are real-life documentation examples or exercises, again, to give you some project experience. They will be graded, and you will get feedback from your instructor on your assignment. Again, we'll point out the things that were done really well. We'll point out that where errors were made so you can learn from your mistakes. My best lessons I've learned in life are the ones where something went wrong, and I, made sure I never did it again. So that feedback that you'll get from your instructor will be designed to specifically help you to learn. So you don't have to be worried if you don't get perfect marks. It's about the learning experience. There's also a discussion forum that you get graded for participation. And I always find the discussion forum really interesting. I have learned some valuable things from the students in the workshop whenever I've taught it. It's a place to share information. It's a place to ask questions. And it's interesting to participate in, and you also get grades for participating. So, and then you have a quiz that, again, will give you a mark, the result. One of the things to keep in mind is that the questions in the quizzes, the answers are always in your required reading materials, but they have specifically been designed to make you aware of some of those little nuances or things that can occasionally trip up projects. So they have, there's some extra thought that went into them so that you'll learn some of those little tricks or sometimes things that occasionally get misinterpreted or overlooked. So the quiz was specifically designed to help you with those particular aspects. You can see on the bottom of this particular slide what each course covers. So as I said, the Course 1 is mandatory for anybody that is taking any of the courses. So it's an introduction to LEED and the integrated design process. Course 2 deals with the credits and the aspects of the LEED program that are focused primarily on the construction process. So if somebody one of the students is a contractor, they're working on a LEED project, and they really want to know just what is their role in the project, then Course 2 is focused on that. Course 3 focuses in on the sites and the water credits. Course 4 on the energy and atmosphere credits. Course 5 on the commissioning process. So we've actually developed a whole Course 5, which is 4 modules, strictly on the commissioning process. Who, what, when, where, and what is involved. Course 6 focuses on the indoor environmental quality credit. And then Course 7, the LEED certification process and procedures. How do you actually get the project across the finish line and get the certification for the client? How much time do you need to set aside each week? Probably about 2.5 to 3 hours. As I said, the webinar will take you about an hour to participate in that. And then there's going to be about an hour and a half to 2 hours to cover off the reading materials and the assignments. If you do get stuck on an assignment, the instructor is always available by email to help you out if you need some clarifications. I know that when I have an active course, I'm always monitoring my email and do my absolute best to get back to questions as quickly as possible. And I'm sure Alex and the rest of the instructors do the same. If you have something that comes up in life, and we all know that life happens, and you aren't going to be able to submit an assignment by the due date, if you let your instructor know, they will usually give you a day or so of grace to get it in. If it's going to be a longer time than that, then it's always a good idea to contact the CaGBC, and they'll be more than happy to work with you. We want to see students be successful in this process, so the CaGBC and the course instructors will do their best to help you get across the finish line. So on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Alex, and she can explain some of the benefits of the program to you.
Great. Thanks, Sheila. So I want to first talk a little bit on something that Sheila touched on already, which is practical hands-on experience. So that's, I think, one of the biggest benefits of this course is that you get the practical hands-on experience of looking at the LEED documentation, looking at the LEED letter templates, looking at the reference guide, you're reading through CIRs, and then you get to talk to the instructor about it. You get to write those assignments, do those quizzes, and you get the feedback that lets you know that you've interpreted that correctly or you've understood it correctly. We try to give pretty practical examples during the class. So one that Sheila provided with regards to indoor air quality testing that I thought was sort of fascinating was when you're going into a building, you're testing the indoor air quality, you're testing what's in the air. Make sure that your technicians aren't wearing any perfume or cologne. Now that makes perfect sense as soon as you said it, right? But it wouldn't have necessarily occurred to me as a potential pitfall for the project going into that. So those kinds of examples that are gained through our experience so that you don't have to gain that experience the hard way, I think are really beneficial. The assignments also give good feedback, and I think they're really interesting for us too because we get people coming from different perspectives. So the course is developed to really focus both on some of the documentation LEED specifics. I've called it documentation nitty-gritty. And then to take a step back and look at the concepts of sustainable design and what the intent of some of the credits is. So where do I look something up in the reference guide? Or when might I want to check if something is already in a CIR, a credit interpretation request? Or when do I need to submit my own credit interpretation request? So here's one example of that. There are some different credit requirements if a space is densely occupied. But what does densely occupied mean? There is a definition. We can track it down, but it does matter. It does make a difference to how you design your project, how you document your credit. Little things like that that do have an impact are covered in sort of that documentation LEED specific nitty-gritty. We also look at bigger picture concepts. So for example, what kinds of features in the design can save energy? That's a pretty big, broad question, one that I've largely built my career around. But there are all these concepts that you can bring in and common features of designs that you can bring in and understand and start to bring up in your project meetings or in your practice. The program also helps give students some exposure to different areas of LEED and different areas of sustainable design. So my area is, my background is mechanical engineering. I do a lot of energy. I do some IAQ. I don't do a whole bunch with, for example, sustainable sites. But I always find it interesting to find out more about it because that can help me understand when I'm in a project meeting with my clients why one of the other consultants is trying to get something the way that they're trying to make it. That can help me tailor my own recommendations to be appropriate for the project context, and to better understand the project as a whole. Some other benefits include contact with professionals and students in the industry. So Sheila mentioned that there are discussion boards. We ask one or two of the students each week to start up a discussion, and then we ask everyone to respond to those questions. That's really interesting. So we get a lot of different perspectives. We get people from the architecture side, from the contractor side. I learned a lot about industrial processes recently. We asked somebody about energy savings around them and in their daily life. And it turned out that he worked with a lot of industrial processes, most of which I'd never heard of. And so he provided a lot of very significant energy saving ideas around those processes that he sees in his daily life that don't come into necessarily my life as a designer, as a mechanical engineer. We also get people coming in from the larger commercial construction side and from the single-family residential side to some degree. The course does focus on LEED for new construction rather than LEED for homes, but that's definitely where some of the background and some of the interest has come from. So that's a really interesting discussion board. You get to talk to people, you get different perspectives.
you get a chance to ask questions. So ask questions of your instructors, ask questions on those discussion boards of your fellow students, and to get answers, again, from professionals who are doing this and have been doing this for a number of years. Another one is networking. Find out who else is doing what you do, maybe in your area, maybe in a different location across Canada. It is a part-time program that lets you work at your own pace. Now, to me, the part of the benefit is there are actually some deadlines to it. Sheila mentioned that there are assignments that would be due weekly during each module. So that's kind of nice. I don't know, maybe the rest of you are really on top of things, never think that you're going to maybe take this course at some point later. But for me, I know that if it doesn't have a deadline, it's a lot less likely to happen. If I just think I might do this sometime in the future, it keeps being the future. So having a program that keeps things on track and that requires some feedback, requires some regular input, requires some regular upkeep, while still letting you do that at your own pace. We're not saying you have to do the assignment at exactly 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. You can set aside times that work for you. I think that's a benefit for many working professionals. And of course, as we found out in the earlier poll, many of you are interested in distinguishing yourself in the job market. I think this does help do that. You get that certificate. You have all this information at your fingertips. You understand LEED and sustainable design much better. So I'm going to throw it over to Shahryar to discuss the student experience. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Shahryar. Thanks, for inviting me. I received the invite and I try my best to explain my experience with the LSP program. I was working in energy field for a long time, and then before going to this LSP course, I did the LEED Green Associate exam just by myself, and then the journey started for me actually. I learned that, okay, beside the energy and indoor air quality like the other mechanical engineers are involved in, there are some other aspects that is really important. So actually, I would say I broadened my passion to these 3P concepts that is talking about the people, the profit, and the planet actually. The people that they live more than maybe 60 or 70% of their life in indoor environments, so it's really important to keep them healthy. The next thing is that we want to make profit for everybody, so money is important. At the end is we want to take care of our planet Earth actually. So as you see everywhere, there is a global move toward the sustainability for every sector that we are talking, especially in the building sector actually. These are my reasons to go to this LSP program and learn more about the LEED and knowing the details of the LEED certification and how to get every credit actually. Another reason for this one was that the government of Ontario has a mandate to get the LEED Silver certification for every new infrastructure facility. So this was a practical reason for me actually to go to this one. And another thing is that in the project agreements that we write down, we prescribe some mandatory LEED credits. So it was important for me to learn about these things and to look into the other aspects of sustainability. About this program, I would say that, it's a very comprehensive program. It covers all aspects of LEED in very details, and it takes, every person, I would say, step by step into the details and at their own pace, actually. And the instructors also, I really love them because, they're really experienced in this field and they're really knowledgeable. So every question that I had, they could answer it easily and really fast. So it was very, very good. And the assignments was the last thing actually to me was the learning process. So it wasn't like some of the university courses assignments. So it was a different one actually. So it was the purpose of each assignment is to learn something from that week actually. And it takes maybe 1 hour, as Sheila said, maybe a little bit longer than that. But yeah, but it's good because everybody can learn and can go back and forth with the reference guide of the LEED and learn about how to do it, how to do the calculation, and how to manage a LEED project actually. So these are my experiences, and yeah, I'm glad that you like to come to this word and to promote these sustainability, and LEED. So I'm turning back to Crystal, or Anai, actually. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you very much, Shariar. Let's move on. We'd like to give you a little bit of the details of the program. We have a next group starting very soon for the LSP program in September the 24th. This will be our fall cohort, and currently early registration is available. We also have group and corporate discounts available upon request. So if you are interested in offering this as a benefit to your staff, or if you have a group of students that you'd like to register together, please reach out to us at the end of this webinar. You can reach us by phone through our main CaGBC line or email education@cagbc.org. For the starting cohort on September, we have 4 lead instructors. 2 of them we've heard from today, Sheila and Alex. We also have Faraz Abu-Khamis, who's helping us with the commissioning process course 5, and James Furlong, a longtime instructor with the CaGBC, who will be helping us with the mandatory course 1, which is the introductory, and the final course 7, about actual project registration and documentation. So at this point, I'd like to open the Q&A section for all of the attendees. If you have any questions currently, I'll give everybody a minute or two to submit it in the Q&A box. Or if you have any comments or concerns, this is also a good time for you to express them. We will be answering questions as they arrive to us. So please have a little bit of patience with us as we go through everybody's concerns. Let's get started with the first question, which is are there any discounts for attendees who want to register for a single course at the time? Every individual course, you can register for it at any point. Although you do have to take into account that these are live deliveries, which means that you'd have to adjust to the time of begin and end. We don't have any discounts available for them, but we have very affordable prices for the individual ones, and you can take advantage of the early bird prices, which will be valid up until 2 weeks before the start of each individual course. If you already know which one you're looking to take, please go on to cagbc.org under the Education and Events section, and you'll be able to see the start dates of each one and the price of every individual one. So let's move on to the next question. And this is maybe a question that Sheila can help us with. Does this course address the changes from LEED 2009 to LEED version 4?
The course, we occasionally will mention where there's a change to version 4, but the course was actually designed for LEED 2009 projects simply because that's where the bulk of the projects that are being submitted for review fall right now. I suspect as the LEED 2009 projects sort of sunset out and more projects are being submitted under version 4, that the CaGBC will look at doing a revision down the road. But right now it is focused on 2009.
Yes, Sheila, you're correct. There is a LEED version 4 revision coming up really soon. All right, thank you for that. And let's move on to the next question, which is, for someone who's already working with LEED in their job, would this be an added benefit? Or if I'm already studying to become a LEED AP on building, design, and construction? I think I'll take this one, if that's okay. So yes, if you are already working in LEED, this would be a beneficial program for you. It is not a requirement, but we actually do suggest that students come into this program already with a LEED Green Associate credential, which will give them an edge, since this is a very technical course. So if you're already kind of dipping your toes in it, but you want to learn the technicalities of it, and you want to go credit by credit, topic by topic on the LEED certification process, this is a very good course for you. I don't know if either Sheila or Alex want to add anything on top of that.
Yeah, I'll add something. This particular course focuses on the documentation for each one of the credits. If you take some other courses such as LEED Green Associate or one of the ones like, LEED for Building Design and Construction or Existing Buildings Operation and Maintenance, those particular courses may focus on some of the design strategies and the nuances and the synergies between the credits that could help from that aspect. This particular course is designed to focus on the fact that you're going to put together a clean documentation package, or one that is as clean as possible. The clients always want the results and their final level of certification as quickly as possible. Once submitted, they want the answer yesterday. So submitting clean documentation packages for each one of the credits expedites that process. So this particular course focuses on that aspect of the LEED process.
Great. Thank you very much, Sheila. Moving on to the next question is, are all the reading materials included, or will there be any online books that need to be purchased? Yes, all the reading material will be included. The tuition that you are paying includes all of the material that you need, including a LEED reference guide, which will be kind of your textbook for the entirety of the program. There are no other books or materials that you need to purchase. So let's move on to another question. And it says, if I completed my LEED Green Associate credential based on version 4, should I wait for the updated version of this course? Maybe Sheila or Alex want to take this one?
The documentation requirements for each one of the credits will differ slightly in LEED version 4, but taking this course and learning how to interpret what is required for the documentation is a credit or a skill that you'll easily transfer over to LEED version 4.
Thank you very much. So let's move on with another question, which is, how long has the LSP certificate program been around, and is it popularly recognized in the industry? So the LSP program was specifically designed to fill the gaps in the industry, resulting in a series of research that was conducted by the CaGBC. It's been in place for about a year and a half. We piloted the program in 2016 with very popular response. Our next cohorts have also been very successful with a lot of great response from students and from instructors. So we're expecting it to continue to be as popular as it has been up until now. So yes, I would say it is popularly recognized. Let's move on to another question, which is, if I have a chapter membership and I want to enroll in the course, would I also get the discount? So the discount will apply on whichever rate is applicable to you. We have rates for members of the CaGBC and for non-members. So the percentage will be deducted on either the member or non-member rate, depending on your status. And we have one more question to go through. It says, do companies contact the CaGBC in order to get CVs from people with the knowledge gained with the LSP program? We've had a lot of interest from outside companies. We can't really predict how a person's career is going to develop after this course, and the LSP program does not promise job positioning. However, we do have our networking solution for the alumni of this program, which is the LSP LinkedIn exclusive group, in which we will be pairing up the successful alumni of all 7 programs with industry mentors and with each other for networking, as we said. So, and also we offer one lucky student at the end of the program the opportunity to come job shadow here at CaGBC, which is also a great advancement opportunity. And lastly, we have, what is the CEUs available for LEED BD&C professionals? So continuing education is available for all 7 courses of the LSP program. If you take the full program, it'll be a total of 140 continuing education hours. The first 20 are just general continuing education, and the rest of them are LEED BD&C specific. If you're looking to maintain your credential with this course, you can definitely do so. Okay, so I think we're going to assume that we've answered everybody's questions. If you still have some inquiries regarding registration, or if you need some more details regarding the offers and the discounts, you can contact us by phone. Our phone is up in the screen. You can also always email us at education@cagbc.org, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So if you have any problems accessing that link, please feel free to email us, and we will be able to help you with registration or simply going to our main website, cagbc.org, and you'll be able to easily find it there. All right, so thank you very much, everybody, for attending. Thank you to our presenters for a very interesting session, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.